Right now, you are wasting money on ads. And I was actually in the exact same position that you were. I was running ads, really not even knowing what I was doing. And I'm not saying ads are the only solution to generate leads into your business, but there is a right way to do it, and there's a completely wrong way to do it. And actually, you know what? My light's not even set up, so I need to actually set up my light just because it looks cooler. Anywho, does that not look cooler? All right. Anywho, there's a way to run ads and there's a way to not run ads. And so what I did to actually start my business in 2024 when I was running my concrete company, even when I started running ads almost 3 years ago at this point for my mosquito company, I was running ads and I was just simply throwing together anything that I could and I was pushing it out there and pushing money towards it. Little did I know that there's a handful of things that could have made my ads work better. This video is not specifically about that, but what I want to talk about specifically is the strategy that I'm using from here on out that is going to work and that has worked last year when I tested it, and the strategy that you should be using too when you're running Facebook and Instagram ads. Now, sure, Google ads could be better, kind of depending on what your service is, but Facebook and Instagram ads are the lowest barrier to entry for the average person to just set up an ad, launch, and run. And so what I want to do is I want to show you exactly what to do and how to do it. So if you're actually in a position right now where you've never run an ad before, the first thing that I want you to think about, which I never thought about in my business, is okay, how do I actually build a foundation within my company to make sure that ads work? Because sometimes ads are not the solution for your company depending on where you're at, right? Do I have the reputation? And I'm not saying 5 years of reputation. I'm saying, do I have like a backbone to stand on? Like when someone clicks on an ad, are they going to be able to navigate to different parts of the internet and find more about my business? Like, are they going to be able to navigate to my social media pages, such as Facebook and Instagram? Are they going to be able to navigate to my website? Are they going to be able to navigate to, you can fill in the blank, maybe the amount of reviews that I have? How professional am I actually looking to these people? Because if they click on an ad and nobody's even, or they go and search somewhere else and nobody's finding me anywhere else, I'm probably going to be wasting ad money, or the chances that I'm going to be wasting money on ads is probably a lot more likely. So what we need to actually do is make sure, one, you have the proper foundation, because this strategy might not work for you, but two, if you actually do have the proper foundation where you've ran ads before, you have an established business, and you're ready to start putting more eyeballs on your company, this is hands down going to be the best way to do this. And so what I want to do here is I'm essentially just going to be breaking everything down from A to Z. And during this, I want to show you the strategy that I'm going to be using going into 2026. I'm going to be using it in my mosquito company, and we are going to go full force with this strategy. And so what this is essentially what I did to actually start my company when I first started running ads, is I would just put everything together like I said, and I just hope that it works. That's it. I just hope that it works. But little did I know, when I was running an ad, I wasn't actually speaking or directing my ads at the entire audience of who I could be targeting and putting my ad in front. For example, the way I like to think about it, I'm going to show you an example here up on the screen. The way I like to think about it is when I'm running an ad, I am showing it to specific people in my local community. And there are thousands of people in my local community that I service, right? I service a handful of different suburb cities. There's thousands of people I can advertise to, but my ad is never going to reach its full potential. It's never going to be put in front of the right people's eyes if I'm not speaking directly to those people who are looking for that specific type of service. For example, what's happening here is what I was doing is I was actually running an ad and I was not targeting the entire spectrum of who could potentially buy from my company. So I want to give you an example of what this would look like. So let's just take, for example, this example is going to specifically be, let's just say, soaps. So you have soap companies that are going to be running ads, right? And they need to speak to a specific audience. So for example, let's just say they're going to speak to an audience of people who are specifically going to be buying soap based off of like the educational content. So let's just say 25% of their audience is going to be buying soap because they received an ad based off of education. Like this was all education content, educating them on maybe the ins and outs of the soap, the ingredients that are within the soap. And then you have another completely different audience that is going to buy that soap specifically because they saw an ad. Let's just say it's another 25%. They saw an ad that it would increase their skin, maybe the smoothness of their skin. So it's speaking to people who are going to buy this soap. And yes, that is a K. Sorry. Buy this soap based off of skincare. So right now, we have people who are going to buy based off of education, like the education of the soap, the facts behind it, the ingredients within it. And then you're also going to have people who are going to be buying because of the skincare within the soap. Now, let's just say, for example, we also have a specific audience who, and by the way, I'm going to try to get my math right here. I am not a math expert whatsoever. But let's just say, for example, we have people who are going to be buying. So far we have 50%. Let's just say another 20% of people are going to be buying because, hey, they saw an ad that this soap is going to boost their energy in the morning. When they use this soap, and by the way, guys, I'm just making this up. When they use this soap, their energy is going to be through the roof. So maybe we've got energy boost. And so that leaves us with, we got 25, 50, 60, 70, 30% of people are specifically going to be buying this because of when they saw an ad, they saw a testimonial ad. Testimonial ad. So here's the issue, guys. We've got education, skincare, energy boost, and testimonial. We're running ads to speak to all of these different audiences. And what the issue was when I was first running my business is I wasn't running to different audiences, speaking to different people who are going to buy at different stages, or speaking to different people who are going to buy because of XYZ reason. For example, I was only running an ad to people who were going to buy off of education. And that was only 25% of my actual potential audience. I didn't speak to anybody in skincare. I didn't speak to anybody who were going to buy from the energy boost. I didn't speak to anybody who were going to buy based off of customer testimonials. I'm not saying I'm running a soap company. This is just me speaking out loud. I completely missed the ball. And a lot of you guys are completely missing the ball, right? You're only speaking to a portion, a small sliver of your audience that could potentially buy from you. Now imagine if you decide to run an ad based off of education, if you're the soap company and you decided to run an ad based off of skincare as well. Now you're speaking to 50% of the audience. You have these two going, you're speaking to 50% of the audience. Okay, what if you threw in the 20% of who are going to buy from an energy boost in the morning? Now you're speaking to 70% of the audience. Okay, now you throw in the testimonials, you're speaking to 100% of your audience. Now you go from only talking to a sliver of your audience to you just start broadening the spectrum. And of course, there's going to be people who are going to buy for different reasons. Like, you can't speak to every single audience, every single person who's going to buy because of XYZ reason. You have to test and pick which audiences are going to speak best and resonate for your company. So, for example, a practical standpoint that I want to take here, like going into 2026, what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be allocating my budget to a specific portion of my audience, like 25%. I'm essentially just going to be splitting it down the line: 25, 25, 25, and 25. 25% is going to be based off of ads of social proof. Social proof. Now, this social proof, this can literally consist of just reviews that I'm going to be screenshotted off of Google, reviews from my company, maybe customer testimonials and videos of them actually talking on camera saying, hey, this company is amazing. I'm going to do 25% of social reviews. The other 25% that I'm going to do is going to be educational. I'm going to educate people on my specific service, why they should go with my company, why we stand out from other companies. People want to be educated before I'm walking onto their property so they know the exact process that my company has. I need to do something to stand out from my competitors, because I'm going to have some people who literally want to buy based off of education. They want to be educated before they actually invest into a company. Another 25% that I'm going to be running is going to be based off of the relaxation People are going to buy because, hey, I want my yard treated for mosquitoes because I want to relax in the summer. I want a summer of mosquito free. Our summers are short here in Northwest Ohio. Therefore, I want to make sure that I take full advantage of a relaxed summer. Let's go hire this company. In fact, I'm probably going to allocate even larger than 25% of my budget because this is actually a huge pain point that a lot of people have is I want to buy this company or I want to purchase this service from this company because I want to actually enjoy my summers. My summers are only 5 months out of the year, 6 months out of the year. Let's actually enjoy it. And so what I'm going to do with this other 25% is I'm specifically, in fact, I might actually split this up. I might go 12 and a half, 12 and a half, because people want to make sure that their pets, people love their pets, right? Their pets are taken care of, and they also want to make sure their family's taken care of. So maybe I'm going to put together some ads that speak directly to pet owners or speak directly to families that spend a lot of time outside in the backyard, in the back patio, barbecuing. I want to speak to those ads, whether they're video ads or image ads. So here's what I'm doing. I'm taking what, in my eyes, when I first started running ads, I'm just not throwing ads together. I'm actually having intentionality behind every single aspect of my ads. It went from collaging ads, throwing them out, and hoping that something works to shoot. Now I know. And one of the best parts about this is we can go from, man, I don't even know what's working, what's not working. And I can tell myself, okay, well, I just spent 2 weeks and I realized that all these ads that I was running based on relaxation were not working at all. And in fact, the family was working way better. So instead of me running relaxation ads, specifically speaking to people who are going to buy based off of, hey, I want to relax, I'm going to increase my budget on the whole family aspect. I'm going to really dig into the family aspect because I'm getting the cheapest leads from that. So maybe I increase my budget here. And maybe the social proof is just taking off. So maybe I increase my budget here. You see, when you actually have a plan to run an ad, you have intentionality behind throwing up an ad, and you don't just hope something sticks. You figure out what's going to work and what's not. And that's what sets companies apart from actually growing at a predictable rate and growing based off of your numbers and not just off of guessing. I'm not saying this strategy is for everybody. I'm saying this strategy is for someone who wants to actually intentionally run ads the right way from the start. And it actually is not that difficult. Like some of you literally are only going to use like social proof and education. That's it. You're going to find those two are your best winners and boom. Or some of you are going to find that, hey, I'm perfectly fine with just social proof. I want to show everyone that, hey, I actually know what I'm doing. I have people speaking about my company in high regards. That's all I want to use. And your ad spend is not very high on it and you find success. And that's great. That's perfect. That's perfect for your company. It's not for every company though. We want to make sure that we're speaking to all these different people who are going to buy in different stages of the buying process. They're going to buy based off of emotional, based off of what they feel like, based off of their pets, their family, the education, the social proofs. We want to speak to every single stage. So that brings us to the next question. How do I actually launch these ads? So what I've done for you is I put together a 100% free, you can call it a course. It's a course showing you exactly from A to Z how to actually run ads within your own business. And if you're at the stage where you're like, I don't know if I want to run ads yet, don't run ads. Inside this course, I'll just show you a handful of different free strategies that you can use to build a foundation to where, okay, I'm going to put eyeballs on my company as much as possible before I run ads because ads are the fuel in the fire. They are going to take your company from A to Z a lot quicker than just doing it by word of mouth or doing it by referrals or doing it by yard signs or doing it by door hangers or doing it by SEO or doing it by posting on Facebook and Instagram. Ads are going to be essentially the catapult, but we got to build the foundation first. So if you're in a stage, doesn't matter what stage you're at, inside this course, I'm going to leave a link in the description. It's going to show you exactly how to do this from A to Z, run ads, or if you want to do cheaper, free marketing strategies, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that as well. All you have to do is go in the description, click the link below, and I hope this was helpful for y'all. Peace.